My name is Bill Lahman. Welcome you all here tonight. A little bit of my background so you know who you're talking to. I live in Lincoln right now. I'm a district manager with the Conklin Company. I do some roofing with the Conklin Company, but I also sell some of the chemicals. So I guess I'm a chemical salesman. I do have a farming background. I grew up on a farm in western Nebraska out by Sidney. Anyone ever heard of Sidney, Nebraska? Probably most famous for Cabela's, right? Yeah. So when I was a kid, Cabela's was just a 3-story brick building in downtown Sidney. No catalogs, no fancy stores, no nothing. I remember as a kid running around in there. It was really cool. You know, they had all their stuff, animals and things like that. I mean, it was really cool as a kid. But yeah, it was just a 3-story brick building back then. So after they sold to Bass Pro Shops, kind of devastated Sidney. You know, about a third of the population there working for Bass or for Cabela's in one form or another. So anyway, but farmed a much different type of crop out there: hard red winter wheat, some millet, but no irrigation. Didn't have any corn or beans out there. So completely different from what's going on around here, and I'm sure from what most of you are raising. So that's a little bit about myself. I'm just going to go through some introductory stuff, kind of tell you a little bit about the Conklin products. But you're all here to listen to Justin tonight, so you might see me go through some of this kind of fast, and that's why, because I want to get him up here so he can talk and you can hear from a guy who's actually using this stuff on his farm. So Yield Champions is just a brand name that Dennis Nunn has for the Conklin line of AgVantage products. We have numerous NCGA corn yield contest winners at both the state and the national levels. Kind of become known as the Company of Champions. About a month ago, I was in Illinois doing some of these meetings with Jerry Cox. We're going to talk about him here in just a minute. Adenosine monophosphate is the name. I am pronouncing it correctly tonight. So what does Amplify do? Well, adenosine monophosphate naturally occurs inside every corn seed. What Amplify does is it coats the outside with that same source of nutrition. And then it runs through this Krebs cycle where the adenosine monophosphate converts to adenosine diphosphate and then finally to adenosine triphosphate, and that's your high energy phosphate. So we just are coating the seed with an additional energy source. And here's Amplify in action. This is a time-lapse photography. Moving on, the third product that Kip Colors uses on every acre is manganese. Why is that important? Well, this is Dr. Huber from Purdue University. And according to Dr. Huber, manganese uptake can be reduced by 30% to 50% in Roundup-ready soybeans following a glyphosate application. Also, according to Dr. Huber's research, this undesirable effect can be completely overcome by applying manganese at the time of the glyphosate application. It says only chelated EDTA manganese should be used, and the Feast, the AgVantage brand called Feast manganese, it is chelated. This is a study done in Illinois and Indiana, just with a check yield and with the application of manganese, and here's your average yield response just by applying manganese with your glyphosate. Number 4 is Kip Colors Nutrient Compass. So Kip developed this product himself, but when it came time to take it to market, he looked around and decided he wanted to partner with the Conklin Company. So this is an exclusive product available to Conklin. We'll talk about Intensify in just a moment. It's a plant growth regulator. So you can see the larger leaf area. It's 1 quart per acre and it's added at the 3rd to 5th trifoliate in your glyphosate application. These are some corn yield results from right here in Nebraska. Ranged from 2 to 27 bushels per acre. 1 quart was applied at V5 to corn. Average yield response 12 bushels per acre. So again, going over the 4 products that KIP uses on every acre. Number 1 was Wex. Number 2, Amplify D. 3 is manganese, and 4 is Nutrient Compass. Now, I'll add here that when I was traveling with Jerry Cox a few weeks ago, he would tell the crowd, he said, you know, if I were told I had to start taking nutrients away from my crops and products that I used, he said the very last 2 that I would give up are Wex and Amplify. Those are the last 2 Jerry Cox would give up. I thought that was really interesting. Average cost of all these, if you buy them right at wholesale, 25 or less per acre. Yield response could be 10 to 20 bushels per acre. KIP calls it the low-hanging fruit. I'm not going to go into Centose too much, but it is our sugar product that's available. Talk with the folks that brought you. They can talk a little bit more about that. Intensify, it's a plant growth regulator, and rather than listen to me talk, I'm just going to let KIP explain it.
So I know there's a lot of plant growth regulators out there already, and you're probably already using one. A lot of products out there just does one thing. Ours intensifies the growth. The 2 plant growth regulators we have is GA3 and IBA. IBA is for the root development, GA3 is for the above ground. So what that does is it gets that plant up out of the ground at a lot faster pace, developing more roots. That's the key to the whole deal, is getting those roots down there, as many roots as possible, because that's the factory to the plant. That's what you got to feed that plant with. So the more nutrients you can extract out of the ground, the more that plant's got the ability to yield. You know, with Intensify, you should be able to see the results immediately. You'll know it's working. I try to make everything farmer friendly. The beauty part about this is you just dump it in your fertilizer tank with very little agitation, you're ready to go. This stuff is easy, simple, ready to use. The benefit of this is my 25 plus years researching on my farm. We research every year. So you're getting that advantage. You don't have to go out there and do this yourself. This is a piggyback to all other Conklin products. So if you're using Amplified D or Amplified L, this goes right on top of it. This is an add-on product. Conklin being in business for 50 years and farmer owned, I mean, they have a long history in agriculture. If you want to see more out of your crops, get them up to a fast start, growing, make more yield, become a champion, I recommend getting hold of your local Conklin distributor and getting some and trying it on your farm and see if it works for you.
So this is just some yield response data for Intensify used on corn and beans. You can see your average yield response up at the top. These 3 farmers represent 20 years of experience on over 20,000 acres. You can hear their story at How I Farm Now. I'd suggest you check that out.